10 more seconds. And rest. Good. Bring out to the floor here. So we're gonna just kind of warm you up as we move through. So I'm gonna roll out for what's on the whiteboard because I don't want to scare you. So we worked on this one last week, but this is a great way to warm up single-sided, and it's doing that shrimp squat. So I'll cover this. This is a great way to warm up because we will be doing pistol or single leg squats later. So I'm going to start in this lunge position, but I'm going to move my feet closer than normal because I'm trying to leverage this movement into generally just a single-sided movement. So from here, I'm going to lean forward, and I'm going to start with my toe curled under. This is going to make it a little easier, but I'm trying to focus on using just my front leg to stand up, and I might lightly push off, and then I'm trying to control it all the way back down to the floor. So I'm trying to leverage it being very much more just the front leg and use just the back leg a little on this. I want you to go through 5 aside on this. So you know, lunge, bomb position, move feel closer than normal. I say you're leveraging, so you should really be leaning forward, trying to stand up through the front leg. The back leg will give you a little push, but you're trying to focus more on like, hey, it's my front leg more than is my back leg trying to press me up. See, I'm going to be a lot of stability through the front leg, a lot more work through that front leg. So imagine taking that single leg, but you get a little help from the back leg as you may need. How many aside? 5 aside, 5 aside. There we go. Good. So as you're going through this, the next move you're going to go into, still keeping single-sided, is we're going to do single leg RDL to warm you up. It's going to be a little more instability on the hinge. But the big piece I want you to focus through as we go with this is, hey, we have the basics of my foot should always be flat and that knee's tracking in line. But from here, I said, I want you to really think about imagining this ankle and shoulder are locked together. And what I mean by that is that if one moves, the other needs to move with it. That way I can keep this hinge. If I'm saying here, you can see I hinge through my hip. Because if I start to lean, I'm now using my back instead of the hip and the glute. But if my ankle and shoulder move together, I'm keeping that hinge and loading through that hip. So I want you to try 5 aside here in that single leg RDL thing. You have the slightest bend in that knee. But imagine if your shoulder or ankle moves, that other one is connected and has to move with it to allow that hinge then through your glute and not that low back flexing to try reaching for the ground as we go through on this. So nice control 5 aside. That's why I just want you to focus on these 5 is that stability. Imagine they move together around that hip for you. Good. And once you finish this, you're going to go into a 3-3-3 of a wide, regular, narrow push-up. And I will highly recommend do this as a knee push-up if you need to. This is just warming up in the press motion. So I said, if I did my knee, the hands when they go wider, they're still under my shoulders. So my elbows don't go above. They're still wrapping my shoulder blades back. It's just going to add a bigger stretch through my pecs. So I'll do 3 wide. I'll go to my regular one. I'm going to do another 3. And then when I go to narrow, the hands don't have to touch, but they should become a lot closer that when you go down, you're going to feel like your arms almost brush against your sides as you go through. And I said 3, 3, and 3. This is kind of warming up that press motion, but kind of hitting a little more on the pec in one, a little more regular, and a little more on the narrow side. Just kind of get a little overall warm up through that press. Good. And once you finish that, we're going to go through all that again. So I want you to go back to your piece of cardio. We're going to go on for another minute. I want you to try speeding up here in this minute. You know, how are you going a little faster for you? So I'll get this clock rolling back up front for you in about 10. So you're going for another minute. Pick up that pace starting in 10 seconds. So this does not matter towards later. This is just getting you warmed up. All right, and rolling again, 6. Good. Halfway. Ten seconds. And last. All right, bring it right back out to the floor here. So we're gonna go right back into that shrimp squat. And now I said, if you want to scale a little more forward up, if you do that, pointing your toe is going to make it a little more easy to leverage that front leg. So if you want to increase the difficulty for warm up, press it. If you still need to keep that toe curled as you go through, keep that toe curled under. So we're using this to warm up stability wise. So scale as you need. That's going to help you with it. I said, if it's, hey, pointing that toe is going to make it scale a little better for you right now. Perfect. If you need it curled under still to help, have it curled under. Said, you go through 5 aside on that shrimp squat again. You'll then do another 5 aside on the single leg RDL. And then you're going to do another 3 wide, 3 regular, and 3 narrow on that push-up or knee push-up for you. You're Christina, right?
You're Christina. Hey.
Nice to meet you. I'm Tate. You were in yesterday too?
Yeah, I was.
All right, perfect. How are you feeling from the first day?
Good.
Perfect. Any injuries or anything you should know about beforehand?
Sometimes when some like external wrist pain.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you kind of get idea already of stuff, or you'll just know because you'll grab it and you'll be like,
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
No, it's new. It was a stupid thing that happened. I like slept on it weird and it would go away.
All right. So let me know if something for some reason is agitated. Find something different.
Okay.
And have you kind of done like lifting, cross training, and this stuff before? All right. Excuse me, a little bit. All right, perfect. Let me know as we go through. Obviously, if you need questions or anything as we go. Yeah.
Nice
Perfect.
to meet you.
So that RDL, think that shoulder, ankle, lock together, help you get that nice hinge through that hip. Now leaning forward for that good hinge, like a deadlift, RDL. So nice and stable. And that push over, go wide, regular, narrow, and think no matter what, the shoulder blades will wrap back. You should feel like the elbows come up above the shoulders. Should be nice and connected all the way through. 3, 3, and 3. All right. So as we're kind of finishing here, we're going to start talking about and prepping you on some of the strength activities. I do want to clarify all these activities. You could share this way with 1 to 2 other people as we go through. So if you're looking the same way to someone, you can easily share with another person or 2. We have 4 activities we're going to go through. Your first one is we're going to have now a little more stability to that single-sided hamstring movement. That's going to allow you to load a little more than what you're doing. It's a single leg RDL. We're going to be doing a kickstand. What I mean by that is we've done this one before. If I'm standing, I have my foot set. I'm going to have the other foot kind of placed behind it. And this one I can add a little bend to. And what this does is I'm only on my toe. So this is going to add stability, but it makes it that I'm not using the movement. So I hold my kettlebell. I'm going to do that same idea that I'm going to press my hips back, that back flat, so I can just really big stretch and I can really load this a lot heavier. And this is all targeting here. Like this one's on the ground stabilizing, but it's not taking any of the tension. This front leg is still the one doing the work. So this allows us to work in a single side activity, but instead of having to worry as much maybe about the balance, if that's our part, it allows you to add the weight piece because you're adding that stability to it. So it's that hinge, the light bend in the back knee, and I press the hips back. This big stretch. I still only have a light bend in the front leg standing up. You're going to be loading this for 12 aside. You will be doing 3 to 4 sets on this activity. So that's something to have in mind. I'm going to show you one more activity before I have you load on these. And this is a single arm dumbbell chest press. We worked on this last week too, but I really like having the single side activity because this adds a lot more of actually core work to it and stability. Because as you get heavy enough, and you'll know, is when you get to the bottom, you're going to feel it torque and pull across your body where you're going to have to brace through your glute and your obliques to press back up because it's going to try pulling you off to the side. So it adds a lot more of that full body to the press motion. That will also be for 12-a-side. I just want you to load and prep these two movements right now, and then we'll talk about the next two movements first. So 12-a-side the kickstand, 12-a-side the single and double press. To give you an idea, you're probably doing around 3 to 4 rounds of these. So that's what you need to have on your mind for the 12 reps. Like, hey, I need to be able to do 3 to 4 rounds of this. Good, Don. Yep. So remember, if you want to practice it, my back foot is lightly on the ground, on the toe. My front leg has a slight bend like an RDL, and then I press the hips back. Same thing. My back knee will bend more, but I keep that front leg with just that slight bend to add that tension. So just practice that you're thinking for 12-a-side on the kickstand, and it'll be for 12-a-side on that single arm chest press. So you want to kind of practice. I generally will do it on the side that's back, so use a little more room. Or you can do 2 arms too if you want to, but I generally use your room to the side of it. Good. Yep. Yeah. I just want you to always think that it's a pressing the hips back. You never just want to feel like you're leaning forward, as I always say. So you should feel like I go like this and push my hips back, and that's what causes you to fold into it. Because then you'll feel your hamstring, not the back. So I want you to think, like, imagine if I put my finger in your hip crease.
Yep.
Keep pushing this back. That's what causes the movement. Not because you're leaning forward.
Got it.
Because now that makes it that it's through your hip and hamstring. Because because right there you went like that.
Yeah.
That's your back. But if I go like this,
Oh yeah.
now it's all your hammy.
Oh, there it is.
So if you want, you can have a light bend too. If it feels good, some people like to see it a lot deeper, and then you can feel more comfortable. Have a light bend if you want to. Yeah, there we go.
There it is. Thank you.
Yeah, good. And right, that chest press, you'll get a good idea at the top because it's said once you get those kind of final reps later, you'll feel really trying to torque across the body and pull you off balance. So we're gonna do 2 more movements here. We'll have 1 more single-sided leg one, and then a core one. So on the floor wiper, I really work on the lateral one. Same thing for hitting the obliques and that rotational strength. That's very functional, but maybe you don't see as much in normal gym movements. So this one, you could use a weight if you need to stabilize. I'm going to just use my hands to the side to kind of keep me anchored to the ground. But what I'm thinking is my legs straight to keep harder. I'm trying to go straight to the side, but I want to control. This is the key, is that as I go to the side, I'm keeping that tension, but I can control it, touch, and I can bring that right back up. Because now I'm maintaining that tension and actually getting the straight part. What we don't want to have happen is we keep this and I just kind of fall and I kind of swing myself back up. Because that's more just momentum. So I can scale this by either bending my knees. This will take less tension as I go side to side. Or if I need to, I can just go partially. I'll feel the tension, but go to where I can still control it all the way through the motion. You never want to feel like you're falling or you're having to swing to get yourself back up. That one is going to be 8-a-side. Just doing that properly, generally it'll be pretty difficult as you go through with the straight legs. And the final one is going to be a single leg squat or pistol squat variation. So now we're adding more stability, but through the quad. So the best ways you go through on this, if you're doing it without one, if you want to try more in the air, based on this is have some forward lean, especially as you use something to help you, is that I'm trying to leverage the balance of my foot that as I go down, this keeps me centered over my foot as I go down. Because once I try to sit upright, that's going to take my momentum behind me. So it's fine. And we want you to have that slight lean forward to keep you centered through your foot. So even if I go to a box, work on that tendency of still leaning forward a little bit to keep leverage. You don't want to feel like you're falling back because now I'm not controlling the motion as I go through. Same thing if I like to hold on to something. I have my right lean forward to help support, I'm not falling back as we go through on this. If you want boxes, we have the red boxes over in the corner. You can grab one of the soft boxes, or if you prefer the leverage, find a post or something, just kind of lightly hold on to as you go through on the motion. It's kind of whatever one you want to work on. I can help you kind of find the right one for you as you go. I'll give you a moment here if you want to grab a box to find a position here, and then we'll get rolling with it. Well, I'll just give you a moment here, kind of get idea of which one you want to try. Or if you want to try different variations, that's fine. So how it's going to work here is I'm going to give you a 20-minute cycle working through these 4 movements. You'll generally probably get four, maybe it's 3 and partway through the 4th round on this here. But 12 aside of kickstand RDL, 12 aside of single arm double chest press, 8 aside of 4 wipers. I put 5 there aside of pistol squat because you have to play around. It's kind of hard to be like, this is 6, this is hard for 6, this is hard for 5. So I give you a little wiggle room of finding the right difficulty of reps. I want you to work through this for 20 minutes. I said you will generally look at this as you'll probably get 4 rounds in, depending, it might only be 3 rounds and somewhat into your 4th round of strength on time-wise. You can go in any order you want if you're sharing with someone, like boxes or any of the weights. Any questions before we start for you 6? Perfect. I'm going to get the clock rolling up front here. Said we're aiming for generally around 4 rounds here of the straight movements to the 20. If you don't, that is totally fine with it. But if you want to follow an order, your first one's going to be the kickstand to RDL for you here. Sir, get that back foot lightly touching the ground. So just have you have that. So kind of have it lightly pushed in, just so you have some balance. Because you're still not using it, but it's going to make it so you can really load that front leg. There we go, sir. And remember, it's kind of weird on your back foot, but press the hips back. Remember, you don't want to feel like you're leaning forward. You're pressing through that back hip, causing that tension through that front leg. So, Paul, I want you to have a little more bend in this leg. So you feel comfortable. I'm moving a little. I'm going to move a little closer. Now, I want you to remember, press your hips backwards, but don't lean forward. Hips go back. So push your hip back, push your hip back, push your back. And once you can't push your hips back, then I want you to stop. That way it stays in that hip for you. Yep. Yep. Don't be afraid to have bend in the back leg on the kickstand. That's going to help you really load the front leg. You want, Steve? I'm going to try to have your arms straight. That just might take some tension off your biceps for you. There we go. Perfect for you. There we go. This is looking good. Said the chest press is also 12 aside. I said your nice indicator of challenges. Those last couple reps, you should feel like that body starts to kind of get pulled or tilted to the one side. Yep, so you'll feel as that dumbbell gets to the bottom, you should feel brace to that oblique. You should feel that same glute. So that dumbbell's in my right hand. I'll probably feel that right glute firing a lot more as it presses to press back up and keep me from literally like tilting or falling over with that weight. Well, Steve, you're going to want to put your feet on the ground.
No, I know.
Okay. All right, I don't want you to fall off the bench. Ah. Consistent. Nice. You have the toe point and everything. That was great.
Former dancer.
You're like
Don't-
maybe harder.
It's harder. Because if you point through your toe, you engage,
Yeah. It tightens up the body as you have to.
you can feel, whereas if I'm just focusing on going down.
Like, I do the opposite to tighten. Well, I do the toe pulled up when I go through. Like,
Maybe not enough, but I'm more comfortable with this.
I don't know. I tell you, whatever works. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just funny. Like, it looks so perfect with it. Then when you do that toe point, it's like the nice.
Like pushing my hips, I grab everything.
It's like on the single arm press, I go like this with my other arm. I'm like out like this because it tenses me as a sit up.
Yeah.
Your spine does not even like move at all. It's like such perfection. Like my whole back.
Oh, first one always feels great. Generally, a little crack on it, but that's just I just think about the control part of it because once you do that, that's what.
I know. I'm like
What is it?
your spine mobility.
Ah, thank you. Good call, girl.
Not supposed to go up.
So whatever your back leg is, just have it like kind of carry. It's just slightly behind you, and you have it bent. And the front one, you have that light bent, so you can really load it to hamstring lines. Because the back one,
I'm lifting my back like that.
right? Pull the back flat, think of it just like your dad left, and hips go back, hips go back. So all I do, let's move this back foot a little farther, but don't add more bend in this leg. This leg is it's only the back leg that has bend. That's the weird part. So I want you to use that.
Here.
So I know it's weird, but so I want you to take here. Yeah, it's everything away. Yeah. So just don't let this one bend. So say hips back, but if you notice, this isn't changing for me. There we go. Yeah, see, hip goes back.
My hammy.
Yeah, carry it. Yeah, carry it. There we go. That's better.
Really cute.
Yeah. I want to do one thing for feet. All right. You're gonna go straight sideways, just sideways. Come on, no, it's good. That's good. That's good. Now control it. Now bring it up. Control it. Now take a moment to get set. Now do the other side. Do the control. Do the control. Do the control. Do the control. Yes. There we go, Pete. That's gonna be your obliques. Yeah, just take that moment to kind of get set in the middle, because then you can really. That's gonna get all for it. That's good. There we go. Them. Like Friday wise, there's 6 minutes in. So that's why I said it might be 3 to that 4 rounds. If you do 1 round every 5 minutes, that would be the 4 rounds. There's Sarah. Good ball. So actually, let's move your back foot a little closer. And I want you to think, I want you to try doing this. So I don't want you to sit on it. I want you to just touch it. Because that's how you get control. Lean forward. Yep. Because this is gonna be the stability part for you. Yeah, so that's what I want you to try doing, because that's gonna be now controlling that motion. So that's what I want you to try thinking on it. There we go. There we go. Oh, I mean, it does a lot. Seriously, putting that just taking that tension off the calf and Achilles for people can like. I've seen people squat like
Working on the balance and the actual.
yeah, no, the heel lifting is insane how much it can help. You good? Good? Okay, so add the bend in this back. Oh, okay. Well, because what that does now, and the reason I want you to do that, so now you can leverage it, but since I have the bend, and if this one has only the light bend, when I get here, it's a stretch here, but not here. So this isn't getting worked. It's all in that front leg. So I'm gonna have the back leg's bent and I'm on the toe.
Yep.
Front leg only has a slight bend. And I push the hips back. Now I have this huge stretch here, but this leg's fine because it lets me target that leg now. So don't be afraid to let that leg have a bend and then just keep that one the way. Hips go back, hips go back, hips go back. Yeah. There we go. Oh, that's good. Go.
Yeah.
That's lots. I'm just keep going. I'm just watching your play. Good. That's what you think. It's really good. Make sure you're pushing the hips backwards and not leaning forward with it.
Yeah.
So that's what you should feel like pushes you down. Is because I'm pushing my butt back. And that
I felt that more in my hammy than I used to be in my quad.
yeah, and so it's hard because if you look at it, it's gonna look the same, but that difference is hips. If I lean forward, back.
I didn't feel anything.
Generally, no. It should just be if it's listen. That's why I go on my toe too, because this makes it that my hamstring isn't even really on. It's more like quad, and that's why I like to add. Make sure this leg has a bigger bend, because then there's a tension here because it's a stretch on the front leg, but it's not a stretch on the back leg. So now this is just there just to make sure I don't fall over. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, nice. Press it back. There we go. That was good. Go. Good job. But see, the idea that is halfway, 10 minutes in, we got 10 more minutes here, moving through on the strength. Do one thing, Sarah. So bring in the middle. You're gonna go straight sideways. Control. Go as far as you can control it. Then come back up, then come back up. There you go. That's why I went sideways. It's all oblique. So sideways, control. You're gonna feel that tension. As far as you can control, and then bring it back up. There we go. Woo, that's what I want. That tension, control it, control it. There, that's it. That's exactly it. It's good. That's good. That rotation, that all oblique, all oblique. It'll free it up. Yeah. It's good. See what the other one looks like. Yeah. All right. So position, Awesome. Now I'm gonna challenge you to see what it looks like. I want you to try touching the box, but not sitting onto the box. Just because that's gonna, that might actually make it easier coming up because then you're not like losing its tension, but also it's gonna show that control all the way through, especially through that bottom part where it's gonna be the hardest. So the same thing, you're just gonna go until you lightly touch it. Yeah, that's good because you're still showing that control. That's good. I want you to try that when you do it now. So it's that control all the way through the motion. So the position's right. Now we're just adding that strength all the way through. That's it. So do the same motion to the leg, but I want you to think, let your body have that tilt forward. So if you fall back,
Yeah.
well, that's gonna be back. So it's okay to have that little lean forward. So that keeps it flat to that foot. So as long as your so as long as your foot stays flat,
Yeah.
because it's a heel leads and orientation, but my hips flat and I'm leaning, it's just keeping me centered over this, which is what we want. There we go.
Oh, that's different. Yeah.
Yep. Because now we'll be falling back. Now you have the stability.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Good. I like it. Good ladies. Good go. You get 5 minutes. So if that's one more round, if that's like 3/4 of a round, just give me an idea. Kind of looking for around that 4 rounds of work. Right. Sideways. Yeah, so bend the knees then. Bend the knees, balancing it sideways. This is going to be the last time on each of these activities as you go through time-wise. So take that time to remember, Coco, press the hips back, press the hips back. There we go. Business wise, I guess I've never really thought of that. Huh. I think you might just be feeling these a lot too. It generally should be like boom and boom for you, that quad. You got your final 2 minutes. On the strength, final 2 minutes.
The next part goes out one before moving to the other.
Yes, it's 30 on, 15 off.
Running a lot of.
I don't really care. I'll pretty much give people the option just so in case you want to show the same piece of cardio to someone. It's just,
Well, that's.
you just have to close that one. Yeah, it's fine. Like it, as long as you finish the movement before you move on to the next one, totally fine. Yep. All right, so final minute here, kind of finish that last activity. Once you finish, we can put all the weights away. We will not need any for the next section.
Would you go to bed with me?
Just talk yourself out of it. Good, and rest there. So we over here, we put dumbbells, kettlebells away. And we'll just kind of talk about the next piece as we will not need to prep any weights or such for it. But I'll give you a moment here, kind of get weights and such put away before we go into it.
Would you go to bed with me?
So on the next piece here, everything is going to be body weight movements for you. So you're going to have 4 activities. You're going to have calories on a piece of cardio equipment. You're going to have hand release push-ups. So we're on the hand release push-up. The strictest variation would be on my toes. When I go down, my thighs are not on the ground. My hands are loose. I'm pressing to extended position. I'm really trying to make sure that when I press up, I don't get this big arch through my back. Even if I do it through my knees, my back stays flat and neutral as I go through. Third one is going to be an air squat. This is one that I might recommend if you need to, having a low target as we go through to make sure even as you go fast, that you're still getting that full range of motion every time as you go. And the final one is a sprawl. So instead of form, a sprawl is a burpee without the push-up. So I'm going to go down to a good high plank position. So when I kick out, I should be in a plank. This is not a plank. Kick out, core is tight. I'm tight through my glutes too. I stand up. So I have a good flat position as I kick back and stand into the extension. How it's going to work is you're going to do 30 seconds of work with 15 seconds of rest. That's how everything's going to work in it. You'll be doing that, trying to complete the total of 60 calories, gentlemen, 45 calories, ladies, 60 hand release push-ups, 90 air squats, and 60 sprawls. So for example, if you start on the calories, you get 30 seconds to do calories. Rest 15 seconds. If you aren't done, you'll do calories again. You'll keep doing that until you get all your calories. Once you finish the movement, you go to the next one. Then I'm doing my 30 on, 15 off of hand release push-ups. Once I get to 60 hand release push-ups, then I go to my air squats. 30 on, 15 off, and then I go to my sprawls. So it's always 30 on, 15 off. Once you close out a movement, you can move on to the next movement. You have 12 total efforts to try getting through all of these. Questions before we start? You can go in a different order if you want and need, if you are sharing equipment with someone, if you need to use the same piece of cardio. If you want to follow along with me, that is fine, but you have to finish the movement before you go on to the next movement. All right, I'd like you to go to where you're going to start, if that's calories or on the floor. So how many clocks set up here? Remember, we had 12 efforts. That's averaging 3 efforts per activity. Just to give you an idea of pacing as you go through. So you want to be aggressive when you are on. With that, clock is going to roll in 10 seconds for you. You're going in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Be aggressive. This isn't gonna be. This is gotta be like you're moving all those calories. So 15 seconds. I just stay on the same piece. Just stay on the same piece until you hear your number. You're back on in 5. Going here in 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Fast. All right, 15 seconds. All right, you're gonna be going back here in 5. Rolling 3, 2, 1, and here we go. And rest. 15, a quick breather. Get yourself set here. Have a goal you want to get on the next effort. You're going to be going back here in 5. Rolling 3, 2, 1, and here we go. And rest. All right, next one's going here in 5 seconds. You're going here in 3, 2, 1, and here we go. It said if after 5 rounds you still the same piece, just move on to the next movement. You still the same piece, just move the next one. You finish partway through, start on one. 5 more seconds. Last. So if you do finish a movement in the middle, go right to the next one. So if you finish your push-ups, stand up, go right to air squats. But you're going to be rolling here again in 5 seconds. Clock rolls here in 3, 2, 1, and here we go. And last, so quick, shake it out. It said, as you know, it's quick breaks, but it's got to be if I'm going to squats, I'm thinking up, down, up, down, up, down as we go. You're going back here in 5. Do yourself right here in 3, 2, 1, and here we go. That was second see. Rest. They said you get one movement done, just try to move right to the next. 10 seconds. Bike clock rolls in 5, 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Halfway. Last. Then we're going to use sprawl. So you go to high plank when you kick back, but you do not have the push up in it. You're going to be back on here in 5. Everybody knows quick transition, quick breath. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Good rest. Yep, shaking out. It's that quick pacing here with that. Going back in 5. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Rest. All right, you come in here 2 efforts. See how far you can get here with this. You got 10 seconds. With 2 eyes, see how far you're gonna get here. You're going in 3, 2, 1, and here we go. So with these 2 efforts, let's see how far you're gonna get in this. Make sure I see how far you're gonna get. 60. And rest. All right, so we'll have one more here coming to that 12 cap. I will let it go for 1 to 2 more rounds if you want to try closing it out here with it. Otherwise, see how far you're going to get. But you're on 3, 2, 1, and here we go. So just gonna end 12 here to see where you're gonna get at the 12 mark. So right here, 5, And last, so there's 12. I'm gonna just roll for another 2 to 3 rounds before you see if you're close. If you can close it out, then if you need. But if you're going in 5, if you're gonna go, you're on 3, 2, 1, and if you're going, you're on. Let's see if with that extra 2 or 3 rounds you can close it. All right, you had 2 more of the bonus rounds. 2 more of the bonus rounds. Yes, you can close it. 10 seconds. All right, you're going here on 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Say if you're on the next, like how many reps do you have to do in this round of the next one? Come Good and left. All right, 15 seconds. Final the bonus ones. Closing out here. Final one in 9 seconds. All right, finals going 3, 2, 1, and here we go, 6. Last one. Last one. No problem. What's up, Darcy? Yeah, I just sent him to Aaron. 15 seconds. I just like sent him to us. 10 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, and last. Very good, 6. Awesome work to that. Happy Tuesday. There are no major announcements here right now for you this coming week. We'll kind of give you a little information as maybe some programming things coming up. But otherwise, if you got your weights put away, make sure you signed in. If you did not sign in before, otherwise, you are good to go, 6. Good work, guys. Okay, I saw that, and that's what I assumed. I'll switch you. Yeah, I assume that's probably what that was. Take care, Tammy.